and welcome to another episode of the world famous
Lume Blooders.
May. So how are you doing?
It's going. Today is the infamous day where I take the Zenith into service, which I don't know how I feel about it. I don't want to take it into service.
Oh,
I don't trust the service.
why not?
I don't know. I don't like the watch out of my hands.
That's a different story. I mean, you always, the thing is, I had this question from somebody recently from Australia who said, I don't want to send in my watch to service. Another question, sorry, I saw it in a comment. And he said, basically, he had to send his watch on a journey of 1,400 kilometers for service. Mm-hmm. And that is just inside of Australia. Yeah. And you think, And then he said, when certain watch brands will just send the watch to Switzerland and it's out of your hands for 2 months, 3 months, then it comes back, might have another issue, might go back. And it just can be such a long time, right, that you get your watch back. And nobody pays for that. You know these things when people buy a new watch and there's an issue with the watch. Yeah. Within the first couple of weeks, they figure out, there's something wrong. And then you have to send it to Switzerland in order for them to fix it. And you are without a watch that you just paid so much money for.
6 months.
That is ridiculous. It shouldn't be. It should be immediately like, okay, we take it back. Here's a new one, right?
I know. I don't know why they don't do this. But there's two things like this, right? Essentially, this is the same with cars and watches.
You know why?
This is the only two.
Because serial numbers activated, all of these financial implications, all of this stuff. This watch cannot be sold anymore as new because the warranty is already activated, and there's lots of implications. But it's
because they couldn't go and uncheck the warranty once it goes back to the factory. But I get
maybe
this point though because it's refurbished. But no, not just that. It's not a new watch anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
So when you buy a new watch, you want it to be new. Right. And if I sent back my watch that was broken, a la Mahmoud, right? Yes. Mahmoud bought his Patek and then it broke immediately. They did give him a new watch. But what happened to the old watch, right? They sent it back. Mahmoud wore that for I don't know how long, a week. And now somebody's going to go spend 20,000 pounds, dirhams, dollars, whatever, more dirhams, less dirhams, more dollars. But to buy a used watch?
That's the thing. We don't know. And see, on the other hand, we had this, we have this buyanywatch.com, who is the head watchmaker there is Maher. Maher is in the region for decades and has tons of equipment and tons of experience. He's really good. And some people from our watch group take watches there for authentication and all of this stuff. And he recently found something. One of our guys wanted to buy a Patek, 5712 or something. And it turned out it was a complete Frankenstein Patek. Everything real, just plonked together from different things, right? So needless to say, he didn't buy it. And it was from a dealer who should maybe know better, but hey, it happens, right? And it looked good. So this was just out of caution, and they went to do this certification. But this guy also went to checked another watch, which was fresh from a dealership, from an authorized dealer. And he said, this watch has been polished. So, I mean, probably slightly. And then you think, that can even happen at an authorized dealer. Imagine this. I mean, I have a totally harmless explanation for it. Like, this was a piece that has been tried by a lot of people, had some micro scratches. Somebody buffed it a bit. Still a new watch, right? But it has been handled in the store. It has been tried on from a couple of people, which can happen, right? You don't get a new fresh piece sometimes of these watches. This watch might have been tried by 20, 30, 40, 50 people, right? You have no idea. And in this case, they just made it pristine before actually giving to the person who actually bought it. Is this really bad? I don't know. It's a bit of you don't expect a brand new watch to be polished, but on the other hand, it's like, you never know, right?
I don't know. I mean, once again, this is, I understand where they're coming from. In the US, we have a little bit more buyer protection when it comes to, for instance, cars, right? We have the lemon laws, which they don't have here.
Which is very good.
Here, they'll literally try to, fix everything. And this is one problem I do have with just the level of service you get with a car manufacturer here. When I bought the Focus ST, day one, like the sunroof already was making noises, right? Like whenever it was opening.
Yeah.
And it was clearly like not lubricated, something. These Germans made it, so.
Yes, the ST was made in Cologne.
It was made in Cologne, yeah. And which is ironic because my Ford is more German than your Volkswagen. Just throwing it out there.
Mine is from
yours
Slovakia.
Is Slovakia. Yeah. But nonetheless, and I went in and I said, okay, the sunroof is making this noise. And they said, sorry, it's not covered under warranty because the warranty only goes for this, and this. And I'm like, the car is like 1 week old. Like, are you kidding me? And like, well, let's see what we can do. We have to ask for permission from blah, 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 from All Tire Motors. And then finally the guy said, do you even really want this done? Because this means we have to take the entire roof apart and take off the headliner and blah, 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 blah. And he was essentially pushing for me not to do it. And I'm just like, this is ridiculous. Like, seriously? Like,
yeah. And then you might find some expert who just knows where to put some grease and everything is fine.
No, they don't bother. No. Anyway,
but that's ridiculous.
Here we are 12 years later, 11 years later. Still makes the same noise. Like it was never fixed.
But you see, I think we discussed this before. Sunroof. I mean, I have this nice panoramic glass sunroof, all of this stuff. It's lovely if you have it, but if you don't have it,
how often do you use it?
Exactly. You're not missing it if you don't have it. It's just like
one main advantage.
One of these things.
I have the roof rack, and I only open the visor, not the sunroof itself, just the visor when the bike is on the roof. So I can keep an eye on it, make sure, it's not.
You still have a bike when you arrive?
Exactly. Which, on my gone. GTI, I did not have the sunroof option. And I put the bike on and I was always like kind of scared, like it's going to fly off or something. But who knows? Right. Yeah. And it leaks. The sunroof from literally day one was leaking. The gaskets or whatever, the rubbers weren't sealing correctly. I mean, it was only drip, but still.
But these are the things. I remember my dad having one of the cars that had a sunroof. I think it was a Mazda. And after some heavy rains, sometimes when you drove around a specific corner and a specific speed, you would get a slosh of water in your lap.
Yeah, this is exactly what happened to me. I went through the car wash. So now I know I have two options. I either do the hand wash, which isn't high pressure enough to get the water in the sunroof, or if I do the ADNOC wash with the high pressure jets, I have masking tape in the trunk and I will masking tape off. And that's just enough to not let the water in. And it doesn't, of course, stick to the body, the paint. But what happened the first time I realized this, so effectively the water was coming in and it was pooling because there's a channel and then there's two dripping holes. And I drove out of the car wash and I had to stop for the vacuuming bay. And as soon as I stopped, it was like a bucket of water was just sloshed into my lap.
Yes, exactly. And it's surprisingly a lot.
It was a lot of water. Yeah. And then, but afterwards I went through and I made sure those channels were free because of course they were full of mud and crap. So I have compressed air and I just blew through it and it was working afterwards. But anyway, such is life. How did we get here?
Zenith goes to service.
Yes. So Zenith goes to service. That's
coming back to that topic. You are not to let it go to service.
No,
I understand, but I had very mixed feeling. I mean, just telling you from service perspective, I had very good experiences here. I never had a really bad service experience here.
Where do you drop off? MOE or Dubai Mall?
For Zenith, I didn't have any service.
Okay.
But usually it's Swiss watch services, right? SWS or something, which is basically Siddiqui. And then you have...
But Zenith is not Siddiqui.
Yeah, exactly. Then you have but they might still use Swiss watch services, even though it's not Siddiqui, right? Because they're experts,
be.
have a big, area or breadth of watches that they're taking care of. And then you have the Breitling service, which I don't know if it was also SWS or something else.
Well, I know Rivoli has their own service. That I know.
Breitling has also a different one. I remember it came from a different service, and that was also excellent. It was very good.
Well,
quick turnaround and extremely good results.
I've only had one watch ever go, and it was never for service. It was just the the crystal replacement for the Speedmaster, and that was it. And that came back perfect. I mean, to the point where if Speedies, they have the Omega shoes. What do you call it? Horseshoe. Stamped in the middle of the crystal. It's like the Rolex Coronet at 6 o'clock. You cannot really see it unless you have the magnification. And it was perfectly aligned, up and down. From the factory, it was never aligned. But then after replacement, it was perfect. So they did a good job. However, I did have a friend who sent his Panerai in and his Speedy in on 2 separate occasions, and he had issues on both. Panerai came back from service. It was just a regular service. I think it was like losing time. And when it came back, he took it in the water and the whole thing just let water in.
Oh, no.
So that was obviously a fault of service center. And then the Speedy, he has the Trilogy edition, which has the case back is special. It's stamped as Trilogy edition, blah, blah, blah. And it came back and the whole back was scratched. So he's had very bad experiences with both. So this is what kind of I don't like.
Yeah. I understand that.
But my Omega experience was perfect. I told them, do not polish anything. Do not touch anything. All I want is crystal replacement. And they came back and it came exactly as I sent it off. And I was very pleased with that. So let's see what Zenith does. It is, after all, just a crown or a crown stem or a gasket.
Yeah, let's hope they're really doing it properly.
And let's also hope that they don't say this was someone else's fault. Because I wouldn't be surprised. Somebody could say, "Well, you operated it incorrectly."
You turned it in the wrong direction.
Exactly. Exactly. Like something stupid like this, and then they try to blame the customer, because we've seen this a lot as well, not just with watchmakers, but with car manufacturers as well, right? So you did it wrong, so it's your fault. So, anywho, let's see what happens. If they tell me that they're going to charge me for it, I'm going to go tell them to shove it.
Okay. Yeah. So, what are you wearing?
Oh, yeah. FXD still.
Okay.
Partially why I'm sending in the Zenith, because now the FXD is the daily.
Yeah.
And you?
I'm wearing the Alpine Eagle, the Shipper.
Where's your new strap?
Oh, I just ordered it.
Oh.
Yeah, I had to pay a 25% down payment or something, or 20%.
So it hasn't come yet.
Yeah, and it can take time.
Yes.
They didn't tell exactly. It says it can take a month or 2 or 3.
Well, let's hope you get it sooner than I get mine back. I don't know.
I don't know why it takes so long, because usually you would think that they get shipments from Switzerland every couple of weeks, because it's just not just watches, it's also jewelry and other things, which you could think, man, this must be a possibility to just squeeze in a strap, right? But it is what it is. Maybe the strap has maybe they don't have them lying around. Maybe it needs to be produced. If it has to be produced, then of course it takes a few months. But it is a bit sad that it takes so long for just a very basic standard thing. But what to do?
All right. So that being said.
And the price, of course, I mentioned that, I think, in the last episode, right?
Ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah.
You mentioned it in the next episode, actually. This is being aired before. Well, you'll hear in next week's episode how much Ralph paid for his new strap and buckle.
Yeah.
And buckle up, it's going to be...
I only paid the 20% so far, the down payment. But yeah, it is.
You're on the hook either way for the rest.
Quite a lot. I mean,
all right, let's get on to today's topic before we waste all of our time again, like we did. So today I have spent a solid almost day chatting with my good friend, Mr. ChatGPT, about my watch collection. Just randomly, I wanted to build up essentially a history with it regarding my watch collection, regarding everything, decision-making processes, because in a nutshell, I would like to ask it questions like this. And here's the question I asked it yesterday, because naturally something came up on eBay. And I said, and I told it all about the things that I bought, I sold, blah, blah, blah. I said, as I've told you, I've owned countless Hodinkee limited editions. And as you know, I've owned micro brands, but I have sold them in the past. One has recently come up on eBay, a full set of a Unimatic U1S CH Friends and Family edition for Hodinkee, limited to 150 pieces. It's carbon fiber case with the fully Lume dial. It's not a limited edition per se. It's the made for Hodinkee, not for sale kind of version. Which they've only made one other watch of, which was the Tudor Black Bay 58. It was never available for purchase and branded not for sale in the case back. What do you think? And he says, he gives me essentially two options of what's going to happen. He says, my prediction, scenario A, 70%. You buy it, you love it, because you like the story about it, you enjoy owning it for less than 6 months, and you will eventually sell it because you'll wear your FXD Zenith and Speedmaster instead. So 70% chance. And then 30% chance you buy it, but you don't really wear it. It's going to be more of a historical artifact because you like Hodinkee.
Yeah.
So in none of these do I actually wear the watch.
Oh man. So your chances are really bad for this watch then.
Not good. But anyway, all right. Nonetheless, I built up this whole rapport with him. So I asked him, if you want to ask me and Ralph, because I mentioned the podcast and everything, 20 questions to be featured on the podcast, what would you ask? So these are not the 20 questions I came up with last week, because these are now more refined questions.
Ooh, okay.
So we're going to go through and play 20 questions, essentially. Both of us will answer the questions and see where we end up. Let's try to limit our answers to about 1 minute, 60 seconds. Okay?
Deal.
Maybe less. All right. Ralph will answer first. I'll answer second. Question number 1. Which watch in your collection would be the hardest to replace regardless of value or price? Not the most expensive, the one you couldn't really substitute.
Well, there are actually two. One of them is, of course, my Blancpain Villeret, because it was kissed by Jean-Claude Biver. And it's paid an absolutely ridiculously good price for it, which I don't think I would get again. The second one is, of course, this Submariner from my brother-in-law, who passed away last year. So that's also something that, of course, has a specific memory. And also because I bought it for him, not as a present. He paid for it, but I organized it for him. So it's a bit of it's also the first Rolex I ever bought. Not for me, but for someone else. Him, so, but yeah, it's has something sentimental. Okay, I think there's a question about this later about sentimentality. Okay.
For me, obviously, the only one that I think would be the hardest to substitute would be my daughter's Speedmaster, the birth year Speedmaster, not just birth year, birth date, almost Speedmaster. Right. Like that's not going to happen again. It was bought the day after. And because I was a cheapskate, I didn't want it on the bracelet because it was cheaper to buy it on the strap. And of course, no one at Rivoli had the strap. And they said they were doing half back. So they said, you can't order something and get half back. Like it has to be here in stock for the half back to work. And then on my daughter's birthday, the day she was born, I got a call from Rivoli. I remember stepping out in the hospital to take the call. And they said, by the way, somebody ordered this and didn't pick it up. If you want it, it's the Speedy you wanted with the strap. And I said, okay, I'll be there tomorrow. And there you go. Such is life. So That's
Sometimes the
kind of
stars
irreplaceable.
align, right? As they say. Yeah, sweet.
By the way, I just want to mention this. I already told you. I want to tell the listeners. If you haven't played with ChatGPT regarding your watch collection, you can take a picture of all of your straps and take a picture of the watches, and it will do all the strap pairings for you, what will go best, which is super fun. And also, it asks you nice little questions about, what doesn't fit in your collection, what should you maybe move on, what should you not move on, and it asks questions fairly well. It told me, like, let's say tomorrow you lose all of your watches, insurance pays out every penny. What do you do? Do you rebuild the same collection, or do you do something totally different? So I was like, that's a good question as well. What would you do, Ralph?
Very interesting questions. Yeah, I don't know, to be honest. Would I buy exactly the same if I had this bunch of money lying around, or would I just jump on this occasion and say, like, yeah, now I'm consolidating by, instead of 12 or 14 watches, I just buy 3.
Yeah. Who knows?
And then, yeah, it could be a perfect way of actually just doing these very painful cut that you just don't get yourself to do because it's too much work or it's just too painful. But if it happened already, that could be a very good idea to just restart from scratch and completely rethink of what you actually would want to do. It might end up with 1 or 2 of the existing collection as well. But, for example, I would have an overseas. But would I have
the same
the self-winding, or would I go for dual time or chronograph, or I don't know, maybe different version of the watch, maybe the titanium, the new ones, right? Yeah, there's a lot of, yeah.
Who knows?
I might, yeah.
I think I would end up with the same thing. And the reason I think this is because if you guys remember way back when we played this game with Julian, building your own collection, I built the same collection I have already. And then, given that I had all those different, try to be different for a while, and then I sold everything and I rebought, and now I'm exactly back where I was before, nearly. So yeah, I think I'm going to stick to what I have. But all right, next question. Which watch surprised you most after you've owned it for a year? Often the honeymoon opinion is completely wrong.
Okay, I don't have necessarily the 1 year thing, but what surprised me the most was in recent history. I mean, first of all, the Alpine Eagle is something that is surprising me every time I wear it, of how well thought out it is. And you find different little details, right, that you didn't really recognize before. For example, that these little wings on the side of on the left side of the case where there's no crown, right? It's like a crown protector without having a crown there, so that the watch is symmetrical on both sides. But also, when you actually, because it's a chronograph, when you put your thumb in there and you press the chronograph with the index finger, it just is so ergonomic to actually has exactly opposite your pusher, and it just makes it so elegantly comfortable to actually utilize the chronograph, which then surprises me, right? These are things that I think that's really very cleverly designed and made. Wow, somebody really thought this through. The second one, I think, is my JLC sector dial, the what is it called? Master Control Ultra Thin sector, or something. And it's just so comfortable to wear. I bought the Opto Watch Co. matte navy blue leather strap, which fits with the blue parts that the watch has, like the blue date disc and some blue indices, right, that are painted in blue. And it just is insanely comfortable. It's so light and so thin that with this light, really nice and comfortable strap, you just don't feel the watch at all. You completely forget that you're wearing a watch, right? Which is, some next level of comfort, which I didn't think a dress watch would be for me. But
you haven't had that one for a year. Neither of these have you had for a year. So it's
both
not like your opinion
relatively
changed.
No.
And I do think that the question here was more so the opposite direction.
Right.
So that's the way I took the question. So for instance, I have had the same thing as you where everyone knows I'm a serial seller, right? Like I will get something and within a week I'll move it on. I kept the Black Bay 54 and I feel stupid for having had 5 of them and then sold every single one. I should have just kept it. But that's the positives. For the negatives, there's only one watch that ever really did this for me where I bought it. I had honeymoon for quite some time, and then I just never wore it. Maybe 2 even. And they were both in the same category. But the most, or the watch that I wanted to move on the most, I think was the Cartier Santos. I had it for over a year, maybe even 2. And it just, I loved it. I really, really loved it. And the date just falls into the same category as well.
Yeah.
Both were silver dial, bracelet, dressier watches. And both of them, I just grew out of. I didn't wear dress watches very much. My entire collection has shifted much more towards tool watches, I guess. And I stopped wearing blazers to work. I started wearing, just denim jackets every day, and it just didn't go with my style anymore. And I also hated the movement because it was a piece of shit.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah. Okay. Next question. I guess.
Okay. Next question. Which watch did you sell that taught you the most about your own taste?
I sold, and then it told me something about my taste.
So if I'll go first. Okay. Obviously what I just said, right? It took me selling my Cartier Santos and the Datejust both left at around the same time. And both of those were when I realized slim bracelet dress watches are not my style. I do not wear them, regardless of, having them in the collection. I have 2 dress watches, if you could call them that, the Reversa, which originally was a tool watch. And the only real dress watch that I have, I guess, would be the Grand Seiko SBG W231, which is also not exactly a very dressy watch because it is a bit thicker. It's not ultra thin. I have it on a very casual strap. I have it on a goatskin strap. So it's not exactly super dressy.
Yep. Okay, for me, it's I think that I also still like a lot of Rolex. So having only one Rolex in the collection, and that's a more vintagey one, I realized, I really want another one. So I bought the Explorer, then swapped that to the Explorer 2. And I think selling my previous Rolexes did do a lot of that to me. Like the Daytona was a fantastic watch. I loved this. Swapped it with the AP Royal Oak. Realized after 1 year as well, enough Royal Oak offshore, right?
Yeah.
I enjoyed the watch, but it was too limiting for me because of its tallness, I think. It wasn't necessarily the weight. It was so tall and so brutal just in its appearance. You can only wear it like with t-shirts, polo shirts and jeans, and it's just not the watch that lends itself to wear it with a suit. You can just never do this, right? It's a leisure watch, right?
How often are you wearing suits again?
Exactly. This week I will wear, probably suits more often because I have to go to more customer meetings in person. But generally, but my point was I found it too limiting for whatever reason. Maybe it's the tallness that really it eventually got to me, right? When you have something long sleeve and that thing and it
just keeps catching, right? It's not pleasant.
It either sticks out like you want to show it off, or it's completely covered and it's also weird because you have this big bulge under your.
I started doing the unbuttoned cuffs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just unbutton your watch cuff, and then it'll slide over, and then there you go.
You can also have your tailor make your left shirt cuff either shorter or the cuff bigger so that the watch can easier slide under. Yeah. Whatever. But that's what they told me. So
it's not bad. Okay. All right. So now we have a twofer. This is 2 questions. We'll go one at a time. Which watch in your collection has the strongest reason to exist?
Exist in my collection or exist as a
Yes.
watch?
No, exist in your collection, I'm assuming. Every is the subtext here is every permanent watch should justify itself. So why do you have? What is the reason you have the watch that you have? Essentially.
Well, I mean, I can't go to all of them, but it's like the overseas.
Just one, the strongest, he says.
The strongest. I mean, the overseas is one of the strongest because it's blue. It's
There
the best,
you go.
and it's the best blue.
Blue is the best blue.
Yeah, this is the.
Yeah, I mean,
best
once
blue,
again.
but it is the best blue, and it is very versatile, and I love it. It's one of these perfect sports watches, versatile, and it's blue.
That is a hard question though. I'm gonna go with the Explorer because it is the Explorer. Period. There's nothing. I mean, that is if you put Gada watches, on a spectrum, this is the most Gada watch that you can have. Like there's nothing that is. Maybe the Ranger would be somewhere there, but I think this is. This is it, right? This is quintessential watch.
Yeah.
So obviously the opposite in the next one is which of the watches in your collection has the weakest reason to exist? Like how can you not justify it being there? Or why should it not be there, but it's still there? Says not subtext here, not necessarily because it's bad, but maybe because it overlaps with another.
Yeah.
So that's an example of how.
Okay. There is a. Yeah, I know. I know one. So that would be my Super Ocean, right? That would be my Super Ocean, I think.
Okay.
Because the Breitling Super Ocean, because it's a watch that was my first luxury watch. I sold it. I wanted it back. I still love that watch. I'm very happy that I have it, but I think it is very redundant. I have enough other dive watches that are pretty much or similar to it, right?
Which dive watches do you have?
I have the Submariner. I have the Seiko. I have a couple of these, and it's I would say it is a watch that I don't wear that often. But every time I see it in my watch box, I think, I'm very happy that I have it, just because it's my first one, and it's just not. I just don't wear it that often. But it's just
for me, obviously, I have two. One, obviously, the FXD that just came in. I mean, nobody needs two FXDs or two Pelagoses, Pelagai, but it's blue. Nobody needs a watch with fixed spring bars, but it's cool, right? And then the other one is the Metal G. Like, I have the rubber exact same duplicate of that watch in rubber. Like, nobody needs a Metal G, but it's cool. It's there. So both of those are almost direct duplicates. And obviously the Pelagos 39 is a much more versatile watch, comes on a bracelet. Like, can't really justify, but it's there. All right. Next. Which watch changed your collecting philosophy?
I think fundamentally, what really kicked off my watch collecting habit, I think that was 7 years ago in 2000, was it, or 2018, 2019, when I think it was 2018, when I bought my Oyster Perpetual 39, my first Rolex, basically. Because before that, even though I had my Breitling, I was still happily buying lots of other watches that are not that expensive, that are like Orients and Divers and other things and Citizens and other rather not luxury watches. But I think when I bought the Rolex Oyster Perpetual 39 with the blue dial on a business trip in Johannesburg in South Africa from Peter Maschlup, a very, very cool pre-owned dealer, I just felt, and by the way, that was about 12,000 dirhams converted at the time. It was a good deal. I
Yeah,
sold
of
it for
course.
14 half a year later.
Profit.
Yeah, I made it. I thought I was the king of the world. I said, I made profit. And then now the watch is 30,000. But yeah, what to do? But my point is, I think then I realized that, first of all, Rolex is for me, which I never really thought Rolex would be that nice for me, because I always thought Rolex is for pimps and show-offs, right?
Mm-hmm.
But wearing it made me feel really nice. It made me, and the watch was really lovely. I couldn't believe how much I actually enjoyed having it on my wrist. So it's maybe also a bit of achievement. All of this stuff moved into one thing. So that completely changed it, because it opened up my eyes to just a different level of luxury watches that I didn't really consider before, because I thought it's useless. You don't have to have these kind of watches, right? Because they do the same thing. There's all the time.
Okay. I think mine is the Submariner for two reasons. One, when I bought the Submariner, I think that is what really kicked off my collecting and my OCD for no date. If you recall, I bought the date Submariner first, and then within a couple months, maybe 2 months, I sold the date Submariner. I made 3,000 dirhams or so profit on it. I was king of the world, as you said. And then I bought the no date. And the no date at that time had inflated within that short period of time. They stopped doing discounts, blah, blah, blah. So it actually was the same price. So I traded effectively my date for a no date. And then I realized, okay, no dates. That was the start of the no date issue. Then when I sold it, it did it again, right? Because when I sold the Rolex, that's when I really realized this is my style, or this is the watches that I like. I do not like anything polished. I don't like bling bling. I don't like, ceramic bezels that are shiny. I want a rudimentary tool watch. It doesn't have to be a tool watch. Like the Grand Seiko is pretty much a tool watch. It does nothing, right? It's not ostentatious. I don't want any, showing off brands. That's kind of when I realized this is, just under the radar, cool, stuff that I think is cool. That's what I want to collect. And it took the Submariner to be sold, the Pelagos 39 to be bought from you. And that is what kind of set me up for where I am now. And I'm very pleased with that journey.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next one.
Makes sense. All right.
Which watch purchase was driven more by the story than by the watch itself? I will go.
Okay.
I have to say,
okay.
Both the Reverso and the El Primero that I have, both were heavily, maybe even the Hamilton Khaki as well. These were story watches, right? These were Hamilton Khaki going to war, the Zenith and the story of the El Primero, how cool that was. And the Reverso being the Reverso. I think all three of these watches I bought mostly because I thought the story was super cool.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean I don't like the watches, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's maybe it was my Moza. Because I don't think it was the Moza I would have wanted to buy necessarily, right?
Then
when I
why'd you
bought
buy
my dual time heritage dual.
Yeah.
Time. But it was one of these opportunistic purchases, right? Where you get the watch for a very good price. It's like a 80,000, 85,000 dirhams watch. And I got it for 50, 55 or something from a friend who, for whatever reason, got two of them at the same time within 1 month. So I really liked the watch. I enjoyed the watch, but then it wouldn't have been the Moza that I would have bought if I had the choice, right? It was
so where's
opportunistic.
The story in this?
The story is because I wanted a Moza. Because I liked the brand so much. Because I thought the brand is such a sympathetic brand. I just wanted to have one. Sometimes when you like the brand more than you like a specific watch from them, that you think, or you cannot afford the one that you actually want, It's not in the budget at the moment. So you buy something that is part of the brand, but it's not really the brand. It's like, oh, I want to have a whatever specific thing from Hermes, but you can't afford it. So you just buy a belt. So it's like, you're still part of the family of the brand, but you're not really getting what you actually wanted, right?
I think the Oris was the same for me. I really wanted an Oris, but there's not a real Oris that I really, really like. And then I just bought it because it was there. And blah, blah.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes it's like that. Or sometimes it's like these. Yeah. Yeah.
We got to move on because we're taking way too long.
We can do it.
Okay. Quick fire round. Which watch do you appreciate more than actually enjoying wearing?
To appreciate it more than wearing it.
Which watch do you like more? For me, the Reverso. I don't wear the Reverso very much, but I love that thing.
Mm-hmm. I have to think of my watch collection. Don't have it in front of my eyes right now, but I think I am appreciating. Yeah, I mean, this is the same as the Super Ocean again, right? It's a watch that I always appreciate when I look at it, but I just don't wear it that often.
Mm-hmm.
But I always like it.
But you always want it there. Yeah. This kind of, there's another question I just saw here that goes with this. What type of watch have you repeatedly tried to love, but eventually sold? So for me, I think I really like the idea of GMTs, but I've sold every GMT I've ever bought. I really like the idea of limited editions in theory, but every single limited edition I would have done differently and then I sold. So those are my two, I think.
I think I have to put it. I'm going out on a limb here, but I think it's Omega.
In general, Omega.
In general, Omega. I have bought quite a few Omega watches in my life, and I don't have an Omega anymore.
But you continued to buy Omegas for a while.
I did have a few Omegas in my collection. The Omega Seamaster 300 Diver in two-tone, and I had the one in Setna gold and the one in yellow gold, both with a blue dial. I mean, one was, of course, a lucky purchase. I got it in an auction for 11,000 dirhams, right? Which, it's just insane, right? The price for a two-tone watch. But anyhow, so I got these two. I got my birth year watch that I then sold, the golden one, that one from Africa that came from Burundi. Yeah. Really cool watch. And I just didn't wear it. That was
very cool.
It was so cool. Every time I looked at it, I thought, wow, what a cool watch.
But I didn't appreciate it until it was too late, and then you sold it. And then I was thinking to myself,
yeah. And especially for the price, right?
Yeah.
But it's just I never ended up wearing it. And it's just, it's also one of these watches you have in your watch box and you think, wow, what a cool watch. And for the age, and it looks perfect. And why would you sell it? And then you do it. And just don't really miss it that much, actually, really.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so it's like Omega and then other Omegas that I had before. I don't know what else did I have. But anyhow, it's just, or like the countless times I tried the Speedmaster and never really pulled the trigger.
Never rang. Never, how do you say, resonated with you, right?
It just never did it for me. It's just like other watches that you think, maybe, but you try it on and you think, wow. But with the Speedmasters, it was always the opposite. I was always like, I wanted to like it. I wanted to love it. And every time I put it on, I was like, something's not right.
Okay. Next one.
Yeah.
This goes with this one. What watch will you own for the rest of your life?
Ooh. Well.
Choose one. Only one.
Okay. It's the Overseas then.
That's it for the rest of your life.
Well, if it's versatile, it's comfortable. Yeah. I love it.
I'm going to go Speedy because I have had that as my only watch for quite some time when I was saving up for my sub.
Yeah.
And I realized that you can put leather straps, you can put, rubber straps, you can put whatever you want. The only downfall it has is the waterproofness, but it works in every condition. It's such a strap monster. It's not bling bling. It's under the radar. If you know, you know. It's got everything going for it. So that would be my. And it's not the fact that it's my daughter's birth year watch or anything, or it's just the fact that I can see myself only owning that and just keeping that forever.
But you know what? I think there's also another watches that I might own until the rest of my life because nobody will ever buy it from me.
Yeah, stuff that's never going to go out of your collection because that's yours now.
Exactly, like nobody will buy it. Yeah.
I'm surprised anybody bought that leopard skin Norcane thing that you sold.
Yeah. Look, every time if you looked at this watch and you looked at the prices on Chrono24 and you saw the price it was selling on auction for, you would think, wow, that's a good deal. So that's why it sold. That's why I bought it in the first place.
We're going to do 2 more. And that's it. 2 more.
Go for it.
Which watch in your collection makes the least sense on paper, but the most sense on your wrist? For me, I'm going to go with the Zenith on that one because blacked out chronograph, square case. It's not my style, but somehow it just works, and I love it for that.
Mm-hmm. I think from my perspective, it's probably either the Chopard that I'm wearing because Chopard is a brand that I personally love the brand, but it is after selling the Royal Oak Offshore, which was too big, too chunky. I buy a chunky watch, which surprisingly wears extremely nice though, right? And wears smaller. I mean, I thought the Offshore was too chunky and big, and that was a 42 millimeter watch. This is 44, but it wears smaller than the
numbers don't
exactly
paint the whole picture.
So that's one of the things. Then the other one is for example, it could be, for example, the JLC sector dial, the master control, because it's not really that I'm such a dress watch person. Or it could be actually the Code 1159, which is also a watch that I thought...
I forgot you had that, by the way.
Why the Code 1159? Because everybody seems to hate it. But it's one of these, like all the APs that I tried in my life, is once you put them on your wrist, you think, it's nice. Okay. And the 1159 is one of these. You put it on your wrist and it's like, wow, it wants to be there. And I love it. It's really cool watch. I really enjoy wearing it. Yeah.
All right. Now, last question before we go. Which watch would you recommend to your younger collecting self? Not a beginner today, but your actual younger self.
Yeah. Okay. Which watch I would recommend?
To yourself when you were starting.
Okay. Skip the homages.
Okay, all right.
I spend a lot of watches with homage watches. Has a lot of money with homage watches.
I've never had an homage watch.
Yeah, all the Steinhardts in the world, and even some replicas of this rubbish. Nah, just skip that money. Keep it for something nicer.
I would tell myself skip all the Hodinkee limited edition. I would go.
Sorry, Ben Clymer.
I'm still gonna buy them, right? I'm still gonna buy them, but like I couldn't even count how many I've had. I've sold every single one, and I'm pretty sure I've lost money on every single one.
Yeah.
And on that bombshell, I think that's enough for today.
Okay.
Thank you, ChatGPT, for helping us out.
Yes.
All right. So
thank you.
We will hear you, see you, as Ralph says, next week.
All right. Bye-bye.